Bienvenidos a Español 2. Bienvenidos a Español 2. Welcome to Spanish 2. This is a review of Spanish 1 for you, and so please get ready to take notes. I'll also give you the page numbers that this is on. This part is on page 72 and page 38. So page 72 and 38 is what I'm talking about. And this is how we make verbs do what we want them to do. Because, for example, in English, if I said, I to go to the store, you would know that I'm not a fluent English speaker. Because I say, I go to the store. Or we go to the store. Or they go to the store. Or you go to the store. So in English, we use pronouns, I, you, we, they, he, and she, in order to conjugate the verbs. And everything is the same for the I, you, we, and they part, but not for the he and she. And in Spanish, you actually have to change every verb in order to make it say what you want it to say. For example, in Spanish there are 3 types of verbs: AR, IR, and ER. IR and ER are almost the same with the exception of the we part. So for a verb like hablar, you would learn these conjugations. O, as, a, amos, and on. O, as, a, amos, on. O, as, a, amos, on. If you're watching this video, I would recommend that you repeat that. O, as, a, amos, on. Because what we do is we drop the ending, the AR, the IR, or the ER, in order to make the verb say what we want. Now, for IR verbs, it's O, S, A, emos, N. It's the same thing for the ER verbs, with one exception. With ER verbs, it's amos. So it's O, S, A, amos, N. Then we need to put the pronouns to it. And the pronouns in Spanish are optional. For example, if I say in English, I go to the store, in Spanish, because you change the endings, you could say the verb itself, go to the store, and if you have the right ending on it, then everybody understands what you're saying. It's okay to use the pronouns because, like I say, in English, we use them to actually conjugate the verb. And in Spanish, we don't necessarily. So you can leave them on or take them off as long as we know who is being talked about. So and these are the pronouns. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. And what these mean are I, thou, he, she, you formal, we, nosotros, masculine, so we men, or we men and women, and nosotras, we women, period, and ellos, they, they, the men and women, or ellas, only the women, and ustedes, y'all, y'all. Y'all go. Now in English, languages want to simplify, not just in English, but in all languages. And so in English, we have stopped using thou and thine, etc. Why? Because we simplified it. So we went to the formal, the usted part to say you. So the to part, the to is the thou, or what we call the familiar you. And tu is what you would use if you're talking to someone you know who's a friend or a loved one. You say tú, thou in English, but Spanish hasn't simplified to that yet, to say you. Alright, so o, as, a, amos, an. For hablar, we take off that AR and we say yo hablo, tú hablas, él habla, ella habla, usted habla. Now notice that the H in Spanish is always silent. Always silent. So you don't say yo hablo, you say yo hablo. Tú hablas, ella habla, él habla, usted habla, nosotros hablamos, nosotras hablamos, ellos hablan, ellas hablan, ustedes hablan. Notice that the LL in Spanish is a y sound, like a Y in English. Ellos, not, well, if you're in Spain, it would be ellos. But the rest of the world who speak Spanish, which there are more Spanish-speaking people outside of Spain than inside, they say ellos. Well, in Argentina, they say ellos. But those are all accents that you can learn over time, or if you were visiting a Spanish-speaking country or listening to a speaker from those areas. So in Spain, it's ellos. In Argentina, it's ellos. For the rest of the world, it's ellos. Ellos. Okay. Just like when I live out here in the country, I talk this way. You know what I'm saying? Okay? It's just different accents, and there's no big deal. It's not that there's a right or a wrong. I will be speaking to you during this course in a very neutral, very, very neutral accent. Okay? Because if I was speaking to you with my Paraguayan accent, I would say, for yo, I would say, yo hablo, yo hablo. Or if I was living in Chile and doing a Chilean accent, I'd say, yo hablo también, also. I would say that. Alright, so for IR verbs, and like I say, find this on page 72 and page 38. IR verbs, say it with me and repeat it. O-S-A, imos, en. O-S-A, imos, en. The only difference for ER verbs is O-S-A, amos, en. Now if we went back to the Middle Ages when people were speaking Spanish, IR and ER verbs would be different, but Spanish is simplified that way, which is lucky for you. Okay? It makes it easier to learn how to do it. Okay, so for example, with vivir, an IR verb, which means to live, I would say yo vivo, tú vives, él vive, ella vive, and usted vive. So I, you, he, she, and you formal. And then it would be the we form, nosotros vivimos, and nosotras, the feminine form, vivimos. So if you're a man, and unless you cross-dress or trans or whatever, you're never going to have to use nosotras. But you're going to hear that when people are talking. Nosotras means we women. All right? And then ellos viven. Ellas viven. And ustedes viven. Now, for example, with ER verbs, let's take the example of comer, which means to eat. And so we're going to say I eat, you eat, he eats, she eats, you formal eats, you formal, you eat, we eat, they eat, and you all eat, You notice my accent isn't here from Florida because yo soy de Utah. I'm from out west in Utah. All right, so go through this with me and repeat it. Yo como, so we're taking off that ER. Tú comes, él come, ella come, usted come, nosotros comemos, nosotras comemos, ellos comen, ellas comen, ustedes comen. All right, so that's the present tense. So I talk, you talk, he talks, she talks, you formal talks, we talk, they talk, and you all talk. Or with vivir, and the Spanish vi, notice how this is the same as a be. And so throughout Middle Age writing in Spanish, it didn't matter. They were just interchangeable, the letters that they chose. A B larga, a B, or a B corta, a V. The sound is the same. Anybody who pronounces them differently has just learned an affect, because our human brains want different letters to say different things, even though that's just not true. Okay? So, yo vivo, tú vives, él vive, ella vive, usted vive, nosotros vivimos, nosotras vivimos, ellos viven, ellas viven, ustedes viven. All right, so that would be I live, you live, he lives, she lives, and you formal lives. We live, they live, and you all live. That's the present tense. Going over here to comer, it would be yo como, tú comes, él come, ella come, usted come, nosotras comemos, nosotros comemos, ellos comen, ellas comen, ustedes comen. Which would mean I eat, you eat, he eats, she eats, you eat, we eat, and they eat, and you all eat. So that's the present tense. I will look forward to giving you a review on the past tense, el pretérito, the preterite tense. Muchas gracias. Chao.